Hi, I am Michael. I'm a small business owner. Previously a coulda, woulda, shoulda, but now I'm a gonna. Always looking for fun, a terribly decent improv artist, a bit manic, and always looking for something new and interesting to entertain me. I am a TV host and your host right now for what we call the Second Scene Podcast, a Dweeb's global production where we interview people you know about the things that they're not necessarily known for. I'm here today with Melinda Fox-Wellington. She has 20 years experience in the medical field, 10 of that being as a combat medic, having deployed to Iraq twice. She is also a professional semi-truck driver, which you can see her in right now, and is currently on scene 2.5 of her life, which is as a health, life, and travel coach. So welcome, Melinda.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Did that describe you fairly well?
In a nutshell, yes.
Okay. It's hard to put somebody into 3 sentences, but we try our best. So I just want to start out by, of course, thanking you for your service to our country. I mean, that's amazing and something I couldn't imagine.
Oh, it was my pleasure. It truly was. I actually have a long family history of being in the military, so it's just part of our family.
Oh, really? Your mom, your dad, grandpa?
My grandpa was in the Navy, and then a couple uncles were in the Army and other military forces. My son is in the Navy right now, so I mean, it's just been
Okay,
around for a while.
got you. So that's what brought you into it.
Correct.
Okay. How was it being a woman serving?
It was actually really good. I was really fortunate. I've heard horror stories, and luckily I haven't had to see any of those or be through any of those. I had wonderful experiences, professionalism, everything.
Is there any experience that sticks out to you that's really changed your life?
Um, well, I remember like on one deployment, we would, carry like a handful of days worth of stuff. So I had two duffel bags and I had one strapped to my back, one going long ways, and I had a friend took a picture of me from behind, and it looked like a duffel bag with just two little feet.
Shuffling
Yes.
along.
Oh, yes. Yes, indeed.
How far did you have to walk with that much gear on you?
With that much on, it was pretty much just from the bus to the airplane. It wasn't
Okay.
too bad.
You had other long treks though?
Yes, we do like ruck marches, and we have about 100 pounds on us, reckon.
Okay.
So, and usually we do about 15 kilometers, 10 to 15.
Okay. When you're out in the field and you're treating soldiers that have like these major wounds, how prepared, I can't imagine being traveling and having that much uh, equipment and what you would need to treat these uh, these life-threatening wounds.
When we're actually, in the vehicles traveling and we have to get out and do wound care, we definitely just have bare necessities, gauze, rolls of Kevlar. We got the tourniquets, and then we also had some compact wound powder stuff to pour in there that would stop sudden bleeding. So it's pretty much just on hands deck and then get them out and then go
Got
on to
you.
the next one. Yeah.
Does that become like an everyday occurrence? Is that something you got used to?
They train us for it to be an everyday occurrence. Actually, when I was deployed, I was in a on what's called a fob, and they would have people out on convoys, bring them to us, kind of like a emergency room type.
Okay, what's a fog? I guess that's a base
Uh,
essentially. Yeah.
Correct. It's like a forward base.
Okay. Okay. I can't imagine how much pain like the soldiers would be in when you'd have to be pouring stuff into their wounds.
Oh yes. I mean, there was some rough stuff, but I mean, overall, it really was a decent deployments.
Yeah, more about the camaraderie and
Oh yes, I missed that.
that's great. I hear that. I've heard that's one of the most common things I've heard from people who serve. It's just the camaraderie that they get. Yeah.
Well, we all go through the same training essentially, so we all kind of have that foundation base that we can relate to.
Okay. How does it compare to being a civilian doctor?
Well, I wasn't a doctor, I was a medical assistant. And but it's completely different. It really is. And I do miss my patients though. Being civilian, it's more laid back. You get to have more personal care. Um, but it turns into also that, it's more what will the insurance pay than what does the patient need. Whereas in the military, it's more, you know, so it's both got their pros and cons.
Right. It sounds like it's more paperwork here, and it's not about saving the life all the time. That
Correct.
that's unfortunate. That's got to be frustrating.
Yes. Yes, it was very frustrating,
Uh,
which is kind of why I reached burnt out doing medical, because it truly became more about what the insurance would pay for than what the patient needs. And that's how one of the ways I kind of got into driving a semi truck.
okay. Wow. It's really that drastic
Yes.
that you want to give a patient the proper treatment and you literally can't.
Yes.
And that was a regular everyday occurrence, I guess.
Yes, it was.
That's sad. That's incredibly sad. You always kind of hear the stories, but I guess I didn't realize how bad it was.
It each place is different, but it does have its moments. And I mean, when you're sitting there trying to explain something to a patient and they're like, well, you need to hurry up, and I'm like, well, I'm trying to help the patient, and they're like, well, we got more patients to do and insurance isn't covering for you to talk to them. I was
Wow.
like, okay.
Oh, that's
So,
insane. That's insane. That's got to
yes,
make it's got to make people cold after a while because you have to push through it. You can't, yeah, there's nothing you can do about the system. You're not part of that
correct.
system. You're just oh, that's terrible. So that pushed you into semi truck driving, correct?
Yeah, part of it, yes. That was the final leg to get me over. But I had my license for over a year, which is a hilarious story.
Let me hear
But
it.
my husband and I have a fifth wheel toy hauler RV,
What's
and I
that?
asked, kind of like a mobile home that has
Okay.
a little garage in the back because we have motorcycles.
Okay.
They call them toy haulers.
Okay.
And it's 46 feet. And I asked my husband to teach me how to drive it. And he said no, because we would either get a divorce or we'll end up killing each other. And probably about a week after that, I actually came home and I'm like, oh, don't worry about it. I enrolled into truck driving school so I can know how to drive the RV.
How did he feel about that?
He was happy. He's like, good, I don't have to teach you.
I have to say that I it was with a regular car driver's license for my wife, but yeah, I tried teaching her 1 or 2 days and we immediately hired somebody else. It was I did not think it was a good path for our marriage.
Yep. And he was really smart about that.
Yeah.
So I actually got my Class A driver's license to drive the RV. And then when I reached burnt out in medical, I asked my husband if he'd mind if I just drove for a couple years until he retires.
I guess he said no. He wanted the free time at home as much as you wanted your free time on
Yes,
the road.
yes, absolutely.
Sometimes that's great for a marriage.
Yes, it has been.
So what kind of trucks do you drive now?
I actually drive an 18-wheeler semi truck.
Oh, okay, the big boys.
Yes.
What's that like to just be commanding such a vehicle on the highway?
It's, I mean, it's just like everything else. Once you get used to it, it's like driving a regular vehicle. You just got to watch your back end a little bit more and prepare a little bit more ahead because it does take so much longer to stop.
Right? How many drivers do you want to just yell at because they drive in your blind spot? Or
Well, there's no just want to, I do, but
yeah, okay,
yeah.
they can't hear you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm having a rough week or I'm doing something wrong if I don't get flipped off at least 2 or 3 times a week.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I have to say, I don't think I've ever flicked off a semi truck driver. As long as I'm in a good mood, I try to let them get in front of me. So we all kind of days out and go into our own worlds, which is not the best idea on
Yes.
the road. Has
Oh, yeah.
technology? Go on. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, when somebody does something in front of, I'll yell at them, and then I'm like, "What am I doing?" I do the same thing when I'm in a car. So, I mean,
Oh yeah, has technology changed the trucking industry yet?
Well, we have tablets that when we start driving, it automatically puts us on what's called our drive log, and we're only allowed to drive for 11 hours a day. It is our max amount of drive time.
Okay,
So technology keeps track of all that now instead of the old days when you used to have paper logs and have to write it down and everything. So
gotcha.
it's made it easier. And navigations and load assignments, they all come through the tablets now instead of trying to do it all old school way. So I think it has definitely made it a lot easier work wise, personal wise. I mean, I get to do a Zoom meeting after, driving a couple hours, and then I'm just going to go right back off and drive again. So, I mean, it definitely, technology does make it a lot easier.
What's the longest you're allowed to drive without taking a break?
8 hours.
Okay, and they're pretty
You
strict on
have,
that.
yeah, you have to take a 30-minute break within 8 hours.
Okay, what kind of goods are you transporting?
Um, just general merchandise that is in a warehouse type store.
Okay. Has it been how many women are driving trucks?
Last time I did the research on it, there was over 300 million truck drivers, and less than 6% was females.
So have you had any encounters or anything that's been difficult because you're a female?
No, I haven't had any difficult ones. I mean, you'll get guys that make comments and stuff like that. A lot of sexual innuendos. But I just play dumb and just carry on and just kind of ignore them. There's been like one time came out after you get fuel, you pull up to the line to go into, maybe grab a snack or use the bathroom or something.
Mhm.
And then when I came back out, guys started yelling at me saying Schneider drivers are always just taking their 30-minute breaks at the fuel island and stuff. And I was like, well, I had to, I said, well, at least this Schneider driver washes her hands after she takes a crap. And he just kind of ducked down, and all the other drivers started pointing at him, going, "Ooh, she got you," and stuff. So, I mean, there's fun times for sure.
Yeah. What are the truck stops like? I know they have a reputation. I own a couple pawn shops. So my pawn shops have a reputation of being these sleazy places that people go to sell stolen merchandise, which they're not. Like my pawn shops are very nice. People don't sell stolen merchandise. They're a great place to visit. We love our customers. The customers love us. But I know that truck stops probably they have kind of a similar like a stigma to them that my shops have today.
Yes, they do have stigmas. I've heard all these stories about lot lizards. What I have not seen any.
What's a lot
Um,
lizard?
they're they're like hookers that hang out in the truck stops to pick up Johns. But I have not seen any. But I do when I stay at truck stops, I try to avoid them when I can because a lot of drivers are, I wouldn't say a lot, a good amount of drivers though are nasty, and they're like pour out piss bottles in the yard. And I mean, it just smells stinky and stuff. So I try to stay away from them. I don't, unless I have to.
Gotcha. Okay, so their reputation does kind of put you through.
Yes. First time I stayed at a truck stop, I had two guys come knock on my door after I pulled my curtains. And they're like, because we park back to back all the way down and there's not much light in them. And I heard a knock on my door and I opened up the curtain, and it was two guys saying that I hit their trailer and I needed to get out of my truck to the back and go look. And I'm like, no. I said, let me call the store and see if there's a manager or something that can go back there with me because I'm not getting out of my truck. And they're like, well, we'll call the police on you. I'm like, that's fine. Call the police. I don't care. Then we'll go look when the police get here. Don't bother me. Um, but ended up being, I didn't hit them at all. A lady she from the store took me back there to go look at them and everything. But yeah, that's why I kind of shy away from truck stops. It was a little scary.
Yeah, that's very scary. I don't know what they were planning or whatnot. Um, what's the most dangerous part of truck driving?
I would say four-wheelers, cars,
Yeah,
really.
we
Yeah.
are.
The way they just pull in front of you, or the way they don't know how to merge, or just I would say that would definitely be the most dangerous is the four-wheelers.
Got you. What do you enjoy most about it?
Um, Gosh, the views.
Yeah.
I mean, just driving across in between big metroplexes and just seeing how pretty America really is, and the sunsets and the sunrises. I mean, once you get on the long stretch where there's not a lot of cars, just jam whatever you want to jam to and just enjoy the views.
And you still can appreciate that no matter how many times you do it.
Oh, absolutely.
Do you enjoy the peace and the solitude?
Yeah, because when you're around people all the time, you have your people mask on. And, being in the truck by myself, I don't have to play the mask. I can just be myself. And I mean, it's awesome.
Right. What's your opinion of the Tesla semis that are coming out? If you know anything about them.
Yeah, well, the electronic semis at Tesla's one type of them. I can see them being beneficial during the long runs, but I cannot see them being inside metroplex areas.
Why is that?
There's just because the computers and the cameras kind of do a certain radius around the vehicle, whereas we see about 600, you know, um, meters, if not more, ahead.
Hmm.
And I can see stuff that's happening. I go ahead and start slowing down that, maybe a quarter mile ahead or so.
Right.
Whereas the cameras, I don't know if they do or don't, but I don't see how they could be that far ahead to try to predict something that might happen.
Right. No, it makes sense. Makes sense. How does I used to drive stick shift and I had 6 gears. What's on a standard semi?
Well, there's different ones of them.
Hmm.
I learned on a 13 gears.
Okay.
And but since I've been driving this truck, they gave me an automatic. So, which like everything has pros and cons.
Okay. I don't even think I was aware that they had automatic semis.
Yes, yes. I there are days I wish I had a manual.
Hmm.
Especially when you got to drop a gear to get that extra torque to get going.
Hmm.
But when you're stuck in Houston traffic at 5 o'clock, you love the automatic.
Yeah, I drove stick shift for a long time and I don't miss it at all. But when I go to Europe and I rent a car, oh, I have so much fun.
Hmm.
But on a regular day, I'm very happy with my automatic.
Yes, yes, that's what I say. Everything's got pros and cons. Most of the time, I do enjoy the automatic, but sometimes I do miss the stick. I wish I had that little extra torque sometimes.
So you're enjoying the semi truck driving. I'm guessing you're planning to continue doing that through your next scene.
Um, Definitely for a bit longer. I mean, I love it. My husband retires soon, so we're planning on living in the RV full time while he enjoys his retirement. And then, but I always will keep this as my backup just in case I ever
Okay.
need to come back.
What is your next scene? You're planning on being a professional coach, life coach, travel coach?
Correct. I'm actually going to be a nomad and travel lifestyle coach. I am going to work with people who travel more than 70% of the time, because it does such a large factor of our whole lifestyle, as far as the way we eat, the way we sleep, always sleeping in different areas, different beds, different environments, not having a kitchen to prepare our food. And what caused me to do this, one, I was missing my patients. I really missed that interaction with patients. And as a coach, I wouldn't have to worry about, how long I spend with the patient or how long I talk to them or answer their questions, because I'll be my own boss. Um, Two, I actually got over 200 pounds driving, and I was like, I know what I should do. Why can't I do it? And I actually, you know, was looking for a coach to help me in this lifestyle and was not able to find one. So I actually went to health coaching school so I can just learn it myself. And since I've been in school and I just recently got my certifications, I've lost over 50 pounds.
Oh, nice. Congratulations.
So it's possible.
How do you stave off depression? Staying at different hotels, not being at home.
Um, well, technology, it helps a lot. It really does. But you still miss those little daily interactions that, sometimes turn into those inside jokes. So there is a definite removal part of that. You just got to find little adventures while you're traveling that will keep your spirits up.
Right. What is what's some advice that you could give people who are essentially nomads traveling about for their lifestyle to keep them healthy?
Um, Definitely prepare, plan, know what you need. Use technology to do, where you need to go. For example, if I know I am going to a specific place in a city and I'm going to be staying the night there, I use an app that's All Trails, and I will go on there to find a hiking path. And then I try to find a place to park that's near that trail. So when I get up, I can do a couple miles in the morning before I start driving.
I
Um,
love that app, by the way. I use that
oh,
app all the time. Yeah,
it's wonderful.
it's great. I've been mountain biking a lot with my kids and with a couple friends of mine, and oh, it's awesome. It's great. All trails.
Yes,
Highly
yes.
recommend
So
it.
I usually find, something like within a half a mile or a mile of a trail that I find that I want to try out.
Mhm.
So that keeps me going. You know, the food, there's always healthy options. Um, you just got to get a little creative. Most restaurants will work with you if you ask them. For example, I love chicken Alfredo. It's one of my favorites. I just ask them to swap the noodles for broccoli.
Hmm. Okay.
So it makes it a little bit healthier and you get your veggies in. So, I mean, just little tricks like that. Each traveler has different circumstances. So I would, need to know what their specific circumstances are so we can work and tweak to their travel style.
All right, that makes sense. I'd always think that truck drivers are kind of limited to fast food, and restaurants would even take up too much time, but I guess not.
Well, there's that, and then truck stops, of course, has a lot of food. I actually have a plug-in 12-volt refrigerator freezer,
Okay.
and I buy like a lot of the healthy frozen meals. And then I don't know if you ever heard of a Hot Logic Mini.
No.
It's a little insulated pouch that has a heating pad in the bottom,
Okay.
and it just plugs into a 12 volt. And I can plug in a TV dinner, and about 2.5, 3 hours later, it'll be perfectly hot. So when I know I'm, a couple hours away from my stop, I'll just throw in dinner, and when I get there, dinner's ready.
My God, I'm getting hungry.
So yeah, that's been my number one tool in losing a lot of my weight while driving.
Okay, that's great. That's great advice. What motivated you to do it though? I mean, it's really hard to make that change. People say it all the time. I want to, but doing.
Yes, I want to, or I know what I need to do and try it, and it works for a couple weeks, and then you go back to your old habits. Because I was there. Oh my goodness, I was there. But I'm getting into my mid 40s. I had two aunts that passed away within a couple of years of being 50 due to medical reasons. Me being overweight, got high cholesterol, got pre-diabetes, and I'm in my mid 40s. I'm like, I got to do something. I can't just know what I should do and then do it for a couple of weeks and then go back. I have to do it now.
Yeah, yeah. It still takes somebody to want to do it themselves and not other people pushing. So
Right. But going through coaching certifications, it really, because I learned a lot about the belief systems. I learned about the habit cycles, and it's really changed a lot of my mindset. And this is the reason why I've been able to succeed this time.
Well, I think it's wonderful you're doing that. I firmly believe in therapy and coaches. I've used them both, still use them both, and they have been huge helps in my life. So I think it's wonderful that you're doing that, and it sounds like you're doing it in a field that probably doesn't have many people doing it, if any.
Yeah, well,
So,
like I said, when I was started looking, because when I was like, okay, I'm serious about this now, let me, start looking into coaches and stuff that maybe specialize in this lifestyle, and I couldn't find them. So I went to school.
uh, that's wonderful. So yeah, thank you just for all the people out there that I'm sure are going to need you and want you. And I think you're going to do some great things. Before we go, I meant to ask this before, but how has COVID affected the truck driving industry at all, or yourself driving?
It has made things more complex, um, especially when it first came out, because, we do rely a lot on, you got to think, every time I got to go to the bathroom, I have to use a public restroom. So, I mean, that's multiple times a day being exposed to potential. So, but luckily, I have so many years in the health field, I was able to, you know, do different types of preparations and try to protect myself as much as possible. A lot of the stores and the restaurants at first weren't let us in. It was drive-through only. And then we were able to finally start be able to at least, knock on the door, and they'll come to the door and take our orders and stuff. But it's better now than it was when it first started.
Has it been harder to find the work, or 'cause I'm assuming with so many places closed, that not as
It
many goods
really,
leaving.
yeah, it really depends on what you haul. There's still a lot of road construction, so there's a lot of drivers that haul stuff for road construction. They're still really busy. I still see a lot of like windmills and stuff, loads going by. So they're still putting up a lot of windmills and stuff. But I know people that haul stuff for like luxury. They've been really slow. Furniture, a lot of people's not buying furniture right now because it's not a necessity.
Right.
Um, I deliver to warehouses that sells, mixed merchandises. So I've been pretty busy because I'm on a dedicated account. So it really depends on what type of contract you're with or what load you're on.
Okay. All right. You've managed to find the work, or do you work for a specific company? Is that how it works?
Yes, I actually work for a specific company that has a contract through the warehouse.
Okay. All right. If people want to find you and they're looking for a coach, how do they do so?
The easiest way to find me is just search my name. It's very unique spelling, melindafoxwellington.com. I'm also on Facebook and Instagram.
Okay. I really appreciate the time that you've spent with us, and
I appreciate it. It's been a lot of fun.
stay safe on the road. And I will do my best not to get in the way of any trucks when I drive up to New York next week.
Luckily, I don't have to drive there. I don't know if I could be able to be honest with you, from the horror stories I've heard.
Yeah, I mean, I like driving there in a small car. I couldn't imagine driving there in a truck.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. The trucks, they have a lot of trouble up there.
Oh my God, even I don't know how they do it on the roads in New York. I drive a fairly small car and just fitting through some of, double parked on both sides, and I see trucks do it, and it's like millimeters between them and
Yeah, they train us, they tell us as long as you see daylight, you're good.
even if it's just a sliver of it.
It's just a sliver.
Woo, yeah. I couldn't handle that stress. No way. Have you ever hit anything?
No, but I did have a car that fell to merge and hit my trailer.
No, no.
Yeah, I'm like, how do you miss this thing? I mean, it's like ginormous.
Yeah, right?
But yeah, they just went right into me, didn't merge at all.
Accidents aren't my thing either. Not into. Again, thank you. This has been Second Scene with myself, Michael. Thank you, Melinda Fox-Wellington. definitely search for her online and definitely look her up as a coach. If you want more no-nonsense advice, a free one-on-one mentorship from any area, from resume writing to mental health, send us a contact request at dweebsglobal.org and we will pair you with a mentor. Again, thank you for serving our country and everything you've done. And it's been a joy talking to you.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.